Hello, folks. Welcome to the so-called episode 11 of My Dog Will Eat My Face. As you can undoubtedly hear, my voice is quite destroyed at this point. And because of that, I'm going to have to call in a sick note for this week's podcast. I can't talk much at all. But I'll share with you a little bit of a story. I did have a birthday this last week, so that was pleasant. A friend of mine came over and we ordered from the French restaurant that happens to be within my building, which is quite nice. And from there, we I ordered escargot, a charcuterie plate, and what was my entree? Oh yeah, of course. Three, not pork chops. I'm thinking lamb chops that were just cooked to perfection. They were just so tender. The knife, I think, was just decor. So it was quite delightful of a birthday until my friend took my dog out for a little walk as a favor, and my ex called freaking out about it. You see, my dog has a collar GPS system that both of us can follow on an online app on our phones. And for some reason, the app showed that my friend had crossed the street or something. And because of that, my ex called up all freaking out, thinking that it was so dangerous that I let the dog out with a quote-unquote total stranger. Never mind, this has been a friend of mine for 16 years. And let the dog across the street into unknown territory and all this other stuff. So we thought it might be also a fun idea to send photos of the dog, like safe and sound at a local gay bar, or safe and sound at the airport, or safe and sound at, I don't know, a war zone or some other places. Just saying, he's fine, what's the problem? And just show pictures of the dog in these terrible locations. Back to my ex, just showing that the dog's fine, maybe with like Kevlar on or something. Or like I said, going through the airport to some unknown location. Anyway, it was a good laugh and a good meal had by all. A good laugh at my ex's expense. Hopefully he doesn't hear this. Oh, no, my luck, he probably will. But hey, karma. I'm the one with the voice that's dying. And what's sad is I had a whole get-up planned for this week with basically a study into what could be the pursuit of happiness when your life is failing, is basically the subject of what I wanted to cover. But as you can tell, I'm struggling quite a bit to cover just my birthday story. So consider this a sick note from my doctor, so to speak. This week, this will have to do for the so-called bonus session or bonus podcast episode, and I apologize to all my listeners for this happening. Obviously, it's out of my control, but hopefully I'll get over it. I'll rest up this week, and next week I can get back into production, and if not, maybe it's just something minor like throat cancer or something. You know, that's what killed Christopher Hitchens. I should jest about that. Wow. Anyway, with that being said, I hope to talk to you next week, not gurgle at you next week. And with that being said, I bid you auf Wiedersehen. and one more thing I wanted to add before I forget. I can't take full credit for the idea of posting the pictures of my dog in various locations that are unsavory, because this actually happened to me at one point. I was the compliance officer for a small business, and I actually, wow, as I'm retelling this story, at the time I had strep throat, so I missed a party of one of my neighbors who was also a colleague. They all showed up at my house deciding to figure out where I was and why I wasn't showing up to one of their house parties. So what they decided to do was take my welcome mat in front of my house while I was inside suffering from like a 103 fever. These were my colleagues, mind you. And at the time, I just saw my welcome mat was gone. I was like, whatever. I didn't really care. Anyway, years later, in a presentation to the whole company that summarized the company's accomplishments, one of the accomplishments they summarized was the compliance officer's welcome mat toured the world. And that's because I started to get emails from my welcome mat at yahoo.com or something like that. And it said, if you want to see your welcome mat again, you have to treat me better. And it attached pictures of my welcome mat in a different location all around the country where my colleagues would go on business trips, and they would attach a photo of my welcome mat like on the beach or in a hotel somewhere or on the L train or anywhere else in the United States, where just a picture of my welcome mat in the foreground. In the background, there's like the Seattle Needle or, Space Needle and and whatever else. The Hollywood sign. And basically, my welcome mat toured more of the country than I ever did in this series of photographs of my welcome mat being stolen and being held for ransom, which was eventually returned to me at a company party at the very end of a few years at the company. So it was all done in quite good fun, but that's why I can't at least take full credit for the dog photos in all these different locations, because the very same thing happened to me with my welcome mat. Anyway, I had to throw that in. Now I'm going to rest my voice, I promise. Auf Wiedersehen.